All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, I'm putting on my DeFi analyst hat because we are looking at an absolute paradigm shift in blockchain architecture, and that is Berachain. We're going to break down a system that fundamentally rethinks capital efficiency from the ground up. Honestly, by the time we finish this, you're going to see exactly why the entire crypto-native community is paying such close attention.
Okay, let's just get right into it. Take a look at this number, $142 million. That's the massive venture war chest behind this network right now. What started back in 2021 as this community-driven, kind of meme-inspired NFT project called Smoking Bears was quite frankly a total Trojan horse. It secretly evolved into a high-performance, institutional-grade Layer 1 blockchain that is aiming to completely rewrite the rules of decentralized finance. To understand how they achieved this institutional-grade status, we're going to logically unpack their system. We'll start with number 1, evolution of a DeFi legend, then 2, the proof-of-stake problem, 3, introducing proof-of-liquidity, 4, the tri-token economy, 5, the economic bribe flywheel, and finally, 6, future of capital efficiency.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, evolution of a DeFi legend, from NFTs to modular architecture.
So, peeling back the layers, at its core, Berachain is an EVM-identical Layer 1. Now listen, EVM-identical is a really critical distinction from just being EVM-compatible. It means this network is running a direct one-to-one replica of the Ethereum virtual machine. For developers and everyday users, this is huge. It ensures that every single smart contract, every wallet, and every developer tool ever built for Ethereum works flawlessly here, right out of the box without requiring a single line of code modification. And this is where we see a massive technical leap. Under the hood, Berachain uses this modular framework known as Beacon Kit. Basically, by decoupling the execution layer from the consensus layer, Berachain achieves what we call single-slot finality. To put that in perspective, think about Ethereum. That can leave you waiting up to 13 minutes for full block finality. But on Berachain, you get near-instant economic finality the moment validators commit to a block. It literally leaves older architectures completely in the dust.
Moving right along to Section 2, the proof-of-stake problem, starving the ecosystem.
The core problem with traditional proof-of-stake networks is entirely structural. Think about how standard DeFi works right now. Capital is incredibly mercenary. It's just constantly abandoning networks to chase the highest yield somewhere else. Meanwhile, standard proof-of-stake actually requires you to lock up your native tokens just to secure the network. It's like you're freezing your own water supply to build a defensive wall. You lock up capital for security, but in doing so, you're actively starving your own ecosystem of the active liquidity it desperately needs to trade, lend, and actually grow.
Which brings us to Section 3, introducing proof-of-liquidity, the paradigm shift.
This is the secret sauce, right here. Proof-of-liquidity completely flips that traditional security model on its head. In this ecosystem, you can't just stake your tokens in some idle contract to earn a yield. Instead, the only way you earn network rewards and gain governance influence is by providing active, productive liquidity to approved decentralized applications. So instead of locking tokens away in a vault gathering dust, you actually have to deposit them into active liquidity pools or lending protocols if you want to participate in consensus.
So the real takeaway here is that proof of liquidity acts exactly like flowing water spinning a turbine in a dam. It creates this beautiful, symbiotic cycle where security and liquidity grow together. Because securing the network intrinsically requires providing liquidity, well, as the network becomes more secure, its liquidity deepens right alongside it. It's this brilliant alignment where security and liquidity just aren't competing forces anymore. Okay, let's get into the mechanics in Section 4, the tri-token economy, separating gas, governance, and stability. To orchestrate all of this, Berachain uses a highly sophisticated 3-token system. First up is BERA. Think of BERA as the network's liquid fuel. It's the gas token you'll use to pay for everyday transaction fees across the network. But more importantly for the back-end architecture, validators actually use BERA to stake and join the active consensus set. Second, we have BGT, the BERA governance token. And guys, this is literally the beating heart of the whole system. What makes BGT so wild is that it is strictly non-transferable. You cannot buy this on an exchange, no way. It must be actively earned by providing liquidity into whitelisted reward vaults. And holding BGT grants you the immense power to vote on which liquidity pools get the next round of network emissions. It effectively lets the active users steer the economic future of the chain. And finally, to tie the whole shebang together, we have Honey. This is Berachain's native stablecoin. It's soft-pegged to the US dollar and is fully collateralized by a basket of other established stablecoins. Honey serves as the primary medium of exchange, the core settlement unit, and really the foundational base trading pair across Berachain's entire decentralized economy. It basically provides the rock-solid stability you need for complex DeFi operations.
Let's see how these tokens interact in Section 5, the economic bribe flywheel, a self-contained ecosystem.
You know how most Layer 1s launch as total ghost towns and just kind of pray that developers will show up eventually? Yeah, Berachain doesn't do that. It is a self-contained DeFi suite. It directly integrates critical native dApps right into the protocol layer. So you've got the BEX for decentralized spot trading, BEND for lending and borrowing, and BERPs for trading perpetual futures. By having these built in on day one, Berachain guarantees a baseline of deep, functional liquidity right out of the box.
Now here is the absolute engine driving everything, the bribe market flywheel. Let's walk through it, step by step. Step 1. Protocols that want liquidity offer incentives, or bribes, to validators using their own native tokens. Step 2. Validators, obviously acting in their best economic interest, direct those highly coveted BGT governance emissions over to the liquidity pools of those specific protocols. Step 3. Everyday users and their capital just naturally flood into those pools to capture the high yields. And finally, Step 4. We see the result. It's a perfectly market-driven distribution where the most valuable applications automatically receive the most liquidity, which in turn seamlessly secures the network.
But what's really fascinating is they're not even stopping there. Actually, with recent network upgrades, specifically this Powell Next initiative, Berachain has radically streamlined this entire continuous loop. By consolidating exactly how emissions and value accrual are handled, they've made this robust architecture incredibly appealing, not just to crypto-native degens, but to serious, large-scale institutional capital allocators who are looking for sustainable, predictable environments.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 6, Future of Capital Efficiency. Solving the cold start problem.
By structurally weaving these liquidity incentives directly into the consensus layer, Berachain essentially obliterates that infamous cold start problem that plagues so many new blockchains. Capital is never just sitting there idle, it's always actively powering the economy. And honestly, that leaves us with a deeply provocative question. As liquidity becomes inherently and permanently tied to network security, creating this incredibly capital-efficient environment, will other traditional blockchains be forced to completely abandon their idle staking models just to survive? It's absolutely a paradigm shift worth watching, and it's exactly why Berachain is commanding so much attention right now. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you in the next one.